From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into the most ridiculous podcast in sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Hey-o.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open this cold Mayday beer and let's get after it. As always, Pucks Out is powered by Mayday Brewery, the official beer Pucks Out podcast. Catch them every Tuesday for Singo with Ozzy and Bingo on Thursdays. Stay in the loop here and on our socials. We might be announcing another bingo date here soon that we'll be hosting. So come on out, win some stuff.
If they'll have us,
friends.
If they'll have us, you know, we never know when we've ruined any type of inroads we've made with folks. I don't promise you'll make friends. Bobby promises that. So that's just
yeah. Don't forget to check us out on Patreon and Twitch to support the show. Today we are covering more of the greatest playoffs of all time, the NHL playoffs. We got a little bit of to talk about on the NHL draft and a bunch of stuff from outside the NHL. But how are you this week, bud?
Not too bad. Just hanging out, watching some. You know, watch some lots of soccer this weekend. Went to, you know, the little kids soccer games. I made my annual appearance to that. See, you know, most people go to all of the, you know, youngsters games. I find that to be ineffective. When I go to one game, they ball out for me. You know what I'm saying? They're like, he here. You know, we got to show out. It's like the scouts are in town.
Yeah.
If the scouts were just at every game, you know, that's just another guy in the stands. But and then we ended up, I had a buddy in town from Chicago, and so he was going to the soccer game. So we ended up, me and Sass and Neely, we ended up going to the SC game. So that was pretty fun. First game of the season so far. I've been lazy, but I made it. It was nice. It was a good game, good win. So we'll talk a little bit about it in the news. But how about you, man? How you been doing?
Oh, yeah. Good, man. Just, you know, chilling, playing some games, doing some housework. Went to go see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 last night, which we'll talk about in our pop culture segment a little bit later. But yeah, man, just, you know, hanging out. Let's do a quick fit check. Didn't even realize when I went to go throw this flannel on that you were also rocking the flannel.
I've been wearing this, bro.
And I mean, I had to support the fact more with the grunge look.
Yeah. Just make sure you finish out this show and get it released, Kurt Cobain. All right, you know what I'm saying? Come on, buddy. Yeah, I got the plaid on as well. You got the Seattle Kraken hat on. Liking that. I got the Cooper's Tavern hat on. You know, we went through some stuff to get this bad boy. Remember, he was not going to get it for us until we were actually super dope, and he figured it out, and he grabbed that stool and climbed and grabbed it out of the display case for us. He was he loved that because we actually tipped pretty well. He was like, "Bro, you didn't have to do that." I was like, "Come on, man." He's like, "Let me get you those hats." So that's the Cooper's Tavern, dude, in Fells Point. Check it out if you're around.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor.
But let's go ahead and not yet. Let's go ahead and jump into the news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
Just when the Avs couldn't think it could get any worse, it does. Gabriel Landeskog expected to miss the entire 23-24 season due to surgery. That is a massive loss and an even bigger loss for one of my dynasty teams, which I think really is the biggest travesty in all of that.
Dynasty or
yeah,
keeper,
I mean, that's
your keeper league team.
It's a keeper league. Sorry.
Okay, I was like, bro, you got up in.
keeper league.
I was like, you got up into a dynasty league without me, man. You know, I was gonna quit the show. I was gonna be like Dave Grohl. I was gonna take my act on the road and take it solo, buddy.
I like how you think in that situation, Dave Grohl quit the Foo Fighters,
quit
Nirvana, and not that Nirvana ended for some other reason that they could have ended.
Bobby, I'm gonna be singing the best of you to myself, dude. I gotta be getting the best of myself, bro. Okay, yeah, all right. Now that we've cleared that you have not joined a dynasty hockey league without consulting or joining me, yeah, man, that's terrible news. And it seems like this is something that, I don't know the full extent to it, but I'm sure it's kind of stemming from what issues he had within the season. So it's really unfortunate that they couldn't have just pulled that trigger earlier. So he would be back and ready, but it's a long road. Hopefully, the Avs are going to be okay with their superstars that they will have next year. I don't know that they'll have anybody come and watch Makar and McKinnon and Rantanen play hockey. I mean, why would you if old Landy's out? So. But seriously, hopefully he recovers. That's a loss for the league for sure.
Oh yeah, 100%. The NHL draft. Listen, we're gonna try and keep our bias at the door. Actually, no, we're not. Fuck Chicago.
I promise, no such thing.
We yeah. Listen. As I texted you the other day, yesterday, whatever. I don't know. I am not a conspiracy theorist, but something's fishy, man. There is something fishy going on with Gary Bettman in the NHL draft. The same year that Chicago gets rid of two of their generational talents. Oh, look at this. They just wind up with the next generational talent. When, first off, they shouldn't have even had a picks in this year. They should have been punished for covering up rape. But no, that's not what happened. They got those picks. And, of course, before the top three were even announced, it got leaked that Columbus was pushed down to third. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just being paranoid, but something seems fishy with the NHL draft.
I mean, yeah, it's probably. I mean, it's funny thing is, I also, you asked me, and we laugh and we joke about it, and I sent you a joke the other day about oh, the writers' strikes happening. What is the NFL going to do? It's all in good fun. So there's a number of reasons that that could have happened, but just to show you, like, it's just so many things. I think that like something like 60% of the money was on Chicago to get the first round pick. With Vegas at like plus 650 odds. I mean, that's crazy, right? That just goes to show you that, hey, they're going to luck into this bad boy for sure. And most of the time in the NHL, it's not a big deal, right? There's maybe a guy that's a little bit above the other guys. But it's not, but this year there's a clear generational number one, no questions asked. He would be drafted right now if the draft happened in Bedard. So, I mean, it's definitely fishy. I don't know. I mean, Gary Bettman had to have been wishing for this exact outcome, right? I mean, it had to have been it. Just like when the Rangers got Lafreniere. We laugh, but Jack Hughes, I mean, the Devils have gotten top picks in the more recent years and have just recently kind of done something for it. So it absolutely sucks. I hope they pay this kid a lot of money and he's no good. I want to get him paid, because it's not his fault. So I want him to get some hella money, some big cheddar, and then be not good at hockey. That's, is that wrong? Is that bias, Bobby? Or is that right down the middle of the road journalism? wishing a kid be
I think
terrible
that's right
at
down the road.
the only thing that he loves, you know?
Yeah. I mean, and it's just honestly seeing some of the professional analysis of this, like people are like, oh, it's sad that it's in Nashville because the fans should be cheering for Chicago for getting this generation
No,
talent.
oh my
What the
gosh,
fuck? No, that is in any NHL draft ever. The fans who are of the fans of the team of the host city boo their rivals when they come up to draft. It doesn't matter who it is. I
like,
mean,
oh
that's
no,
just how sports
we
work.
we have to take hundreds of years of sports history, and we have to, you know, more realistically, to the dawn of time when we've been competing and said, the other, you know, you are different from me. I hate you. Therefore, you know what hockey fans should do is we should just throw all of that out, get rid of it, just for this guy that we don't even know will be any good. We're watching Connor McDavid play hockey right now, man. Who is this guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope, and you're telling me I need to cheer for him, walk across the state. Let's say he is Connor McDavid. You're saying to be the better person, I have to cheer for this guy that's going to be playing on the Chicago Blackhawks for years to come. I have to cheer for him. No. I'm going to boo him, and I'm going to boo him every time he comes to Nashville and I see him. You know, I mean, that's sports. Do I hate this guy? Do I hope that he suffers any harm? No, I hope he gets like a hangnail or something and he can't like play in a game, you know, but I don't want any long-term harm, but I'm booing him. That's 100%. That's my guy. That is why we invented this country, is so we could boo people.
Yeah. And I mean, above all else, I just hope Chicago actually changes their ways and they keep him from getting raped. Honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about Chicago. I do have the draft order here. So I'll just, you want to go through top 15 since that's where Nashville hits?
Yeah.
Is 15. Okay. We got Chicago at 1, Anaheim, Columbus, San Jose, Montreal, Arizona, Philadelphia, Washington, Detroit, St. Louis, Vancouver. Looks like Arizona from Ottawa, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, and Nashville. So that is the draft order as far now. There's lots of trades and lots going on. Anything that you've seen about, you know, the Nashville's 15 pick? I've heard that it is, you know, there's some good prospects for sure, but they're just that. They're not, you know, NHL caliber.
I mean,
guys.
And like there's some talks that, I mean, they could, I think any picks outside the number 1 overall is good likelihood of being moved around and traded and stuff right as of right now.
Sure.
I think the number 1, the only ones that's, you know, more than likely not going to be moving around.
Well, I mean, they didn't get.
It was 15 the last possible. Was 15 the lowest that you could have gotten?
No, I think it was 16. I think because Calgary got 16. Okay. So my guess is that it's the teams that miss the playoffs, and Calgary was last out, and we were second to last out.
Yeah.
So that would be my guess.
I have this sneaking suspicion that the Preds are about to do for the next 3 or 4 years what teams like the Rangers did a couple years back, where they're good. They're a good hockey team. They're not a great hockey team. They miss the playoffs every year by 1 or 2 points, and they just start middling in that 15 through 16 draft picks for the next 4 or 5 years and really make no improvements. And you know, I think at this point, it's like Chicago got rewarded for tanking. Hell, let's go ahead and fucking start tanking.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely the question that you have. What was I going to say? Totally spaced. But yeah, I mean, you know, Anaheim, you know, landing in a really good spot at the 2 spot. They had 3 of their defensemen win the defenseman of the year trophy in their respective leagues. I think the AHL, OHL, and WHL or whatever. The 3 leagues. They have 3 defenseman prospects that are in these leagues and are winning trophies. Anaheim has been doing it right. I mean, they still got guys like Zegras and Troy Terry that, they in a few years they are doing a rebuild correctly. You got to just give it all up to actually rebuild.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not a rebuild. You're just kind of retooling. You're just trying something new. I'm interested to see kind of what direction that Trotz wants to go. I mean, personally, where I want him to go, I don't care if we only going to get him for a year or two. I'd like for us to look at maybe Gallant, as a guy after he being fired by the Rangers. So I mean, maybe that's not the style that they're looking to go with, but it's he's had. If we're wanting to win, I mean, he's had success in having teams win. Maybe not win those cups, and but Nashville's a city that will accept, just getting close to the cup. Obviously, we want to win it, but we understand that gravity of how difficult it is to win. If we're going to Western Conference championships or getting close, we may be able to live with that. So that's just my thought process.
Yeah, 100%. Also, before we move on, we have the finalists for a lot of the awards.
Oh,
and also a quick rundown of that. For the finalists for the Norris Memorial Trophy, we've got Adam Fox, Eric Carlson, and Cale Makar. I don't have the odds on winning right now, but for the Calder, we've got Matty Beniers from the Kraken, Owen Power from the Sabres, and Stuart Skinner from the Oilers. For the Selke, we've got Patrice Bergeron, Nico Hischier, and Mitch Marner. For the Lady Bing, that's just always a fun trophy name to say, Lady Bing.
Lady Bing.
Jack Hughes, Anze Kopitar, and Braden Point. And then for the Jack Adams, we got Dave Hastel from the Kraken, Jim Montgomery from the Bruins, and Lindy Ruff from the Devils. Bill Masterson, we've got Clayton Keller from the Yotes, Chris Letang from the Penguins, and Alex Stalock from Blackhawks. And then it looks like the last one that we have finalists for. No, I'm sorry, that was the last one that we currently have. I believe they will be releasing the Hart Memorial finalist here soon, but I think that's got to be between McDavid and Draisaitl, honestly. Yeah, that is all the award finalists we have as of right now.
I will tell you, neither of us are winning the cup this year, so it doesn't matter that I made my switch to the Bruins. We're not going to win that one. I'm trying to see what else we're definitely not winning.
Yeah.
There's a couple. Who did you say the Selke finalists were?
Yeah.
Who did you say they were? Sorry.
The Selke, Bergeron, Marner, and Nico Hischier.
Okay. Yeah, I think we both won Bergeron, the. Right? You had let's see. You had Barkov like me, and then we both switched to Bergeron mid-season. So it's going to be very close. We may have a tie. We may be coming down to like Coach of the Year, GM of the Year type stuff. So, we'll have to figure it out.
I don't even know if that's interesting or just boring.
Oh, it's boring. We went super boring this year.
Outside. Yeah. Let's move into the next thing is this Glant Fire, but I think we already covered that. Outside the NHL. Let's move on.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
Shohei Ohtani passes Babe Ruth to set the record for most pitching strikeouts by a player with 100 home runs as the Angels lose the Astros 3-1.
So somebody said it was the most Angels.
Listen, I don't really watch baseball.
It's the most Angels headline. You'll always have something like, Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout haven't done something, have done something that somebody hasn't done since 1921 when shoeless Max Stevenson was closing his left eye to pitch. And then they'll have lost the game like 4-1, but they've made history. But it's just it's silly. They are not able to win. But hey, that's a pretty hefty stat there. 100 homers and the record for most pitching strikeouts. So congratulations. Obviously I'm guessing you probably want to win. So figure that out, I guess.
Yeah. Jokic beefs with the Suns owner. I watched this a couple times because I watched it in slow because I wanted to see because if you haven't seen the video, go check it out on Twitter. It's all over the place. Pretty much, the ball goes out of bounds. One of the Suns players goes out as well. The Suns owner grabs a loose ball and just is holding it for a little bit longer than anyone in the crowd should really be holding the ball. And Jokic goes up and grabs it from him. Like, I don't know, like I guess he should or would from anyone in the stands. And the next thing you know, the security gets involved. I don't know if he knows who this is, the Suns owner. It doesn't matter if it's the Suns owner. He's just a viewer. And he kind of bucks up to Jokic, and Jokic kind of just, Jokic kind of literally just brushes him off. And of course he flops, throws his hands up, acts like he just got elbowed in the chest. I don't think Jokic got suspended. I think he got a foul.
$25,000 fine.
On the court. Yeah. Okay, he got fined. All right.
Yeah, $25,000
so
fine.
At first
To the Suns owner's credit,
at first they were calling for
he did come out and say he didn't want him to be suspended. He didn't want this series to be, kind of decided like that.
Okay.
So to his credit, I mean, to be fair, you gotta flop. You gotta throw the flop. You're on ESPN,
100%. I'm not judging the flop.
Sure.
Like, yeah. Like, you own that team, dude. If anyone's gonna be flopping, it should be the owner of the team.
This is
the non-athletic businessman.
Yeah. I think he's been a pretty good guy.
Like, you pay for that floor. You can flop on it.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, that shouldn't have been treated any differently than it was a regular fan. Why you can't? Don't hold the ball. Don't hold the ball. You don't get popped by a 7-footer. No questions asked.
Yeah. Let's see. Russell Westbrook and Pat Bev will get championship rings if the Lakers win the ship, and I can't believe that a couple months ago, maybe less than a month ago, Lakers were like about to miss the playoffs. But that again, and I do want to say that if you go back 3 years ago, I was adamant that I liked NBA more than college basketball. I don't think I can say that any longer. I think that we are often, way too much seeing these professional athletes get resting. I feel like they're playing less than 50% of the games in the regular season now. And I don't like that. You set minimum, a professional athlete because fans want to come see you.
Yeah, they've set minimums now to win awards. I think it's like 65 games you have to play to be eligible for any of the rewards. I did look into this article, which is crazy for me, right, Bob? I don't normally read the articles. I normally just sensationalize the headline. And so I actually did read this article. Basically, at that point, it's up to the team to make the decision on who gets rings and who doesn't. Team like the Lakers will generally give rings to everybody. It's not just Pat Beverly and Russell Westbrook. It's basically all people that were on the roster throughout that season. So it's really up to the teams. They apparently cost a fortune to have made, I would hope. And so they were joking about it. Pat Beverly and Russell Westbrook were joking about it on one of their podcasts. And they made a good point. I mean, the reason that they are winning is because the assets that their trades were able to bring in to the Lakers, which is not a great argument to have. But you were a part of the team. I could see
an argument.
Getting the ring. It's weird. It's one of those things like I would absolutely take the ring, but I don't know that I could count it. You know what I'm saying? Like It wasn't like I got injured before the playoffs.
I have the mindset that if you were at any point during the championship season on the roster, on the practice squad, in the front office, if you were the athletic trainer, you deserve rings. I think that as a team sport, every single asset is important to winning a championship. If it weren't for the practice squad guys being there, showing up, being, warm bodies on a practice court, like, I think that that's part of a team sport.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I don't care about the ring.
I think they should be more liberal with giving out rings.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. I don't care about the ring, but there is a point to which I'm saying is you can't count it. Like when we're having an argument, when we're having a discussion, we can't bring up Russell Wilson's rings that he won when he wasn't a part of the actual championship run. Yeah, Russell Westbrook or Russell Wilson. I mean, whoever. If a quarterback got traded early, like Trey Lance. Let's say they go into 2 games in the season and Trey Lance gets traded when Brock Purdy comes back, and the San Francisco 49ers win the Super Bowl. Well, I'm not now making the argument that Trey Lance, was a Super Bowl winner. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's kind of the same thought process I have. They should absolutely get the rings, but they should not get credit for the championship, in my mind.
So I guess using that Trey Lance situation, would you then say because if you were a practice squad guy? But also here's my viewpoint on it is that I say count it, because at the end of the day, no one's having the conversation, oh, Pat Bev might be the greatest of all time. Let's just compare the championships that he has.
Well, because
because no one's saying that.
You really plucked from those 2 options that you had there and chose Pat Beverly as the argument people were going to be having. My thought process might be a little more in the range of the guy that has more triple doubles than Oscar Robinson. If we now give him a ring and count the Lakers championship, which they're not going to win anyway, for him, that's disingenuous to the argument of arguing the rings. Drew Bledsoe got a Super Bowl ring, but do you consider Drew Bledsoe a Super Bowl winner? You know what I'm saying? Like, no.
Oh, hell yes. Oh, 100% I do.
I mean, I consider but what I'm saying is, do you when you're arguing Drew Bledsoe's better than this guy, do you bring up the Super Bowl ring?
Well, no,
because you can't. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It shouldn't be used as.
I guess my point is that if Russell Westbrook then goes on and wins, say, 3 more championships in his career, and down the road, I can understand people saying, okay, he didn't win 4, he won 3.
Yeah,
but if he's got 1.
But I mean, in my consideration, you get the ring for being a part of the championship team. He didn't win a championship. That's my argument I'm making. Is he wasn't a part of that championship team. Okay. Arguably, he's the reason that they have the chance. I'm saying if we're talking about Russell Westbrook, we shouldn't bring up the Lakers winning a ring when he wasn't on the team.
I think, I think we were on 2 different pages. I agree with what you're saying, because like any person that is traded from a team, you don't
can't help it
win a championship if you get traded to another team. Like if I'm trying to think, players that got traded from Seattle to Colorado, if Seattle goes and wins it, those guys aren't saying, "Oh, I'm a 2023 Stanley Cup champion."
That's what I'm
saying. Might get a ring, but they're not a Stanley Cup champion this year. I misunderstood what you were saying. I thought you were saying they don't get credit for helping, and I'm like, well, you get credit for helping.
Everybody gets credit, but when I'm saying we're sitting here and we're arguing Russell Westbrook's merit, where we're ranking him in the NBA, I'm not going to be like, well, that time that he got traded and then the team that he was on became better and then won. That was him. It was a negative him, but he got, okay. So we're on the same page. Yeah.
The only people that can get away with saying that is maybe the Sobo brothers in our fantasy league, because they practically do make trades to help each other win championships.
But they gotta win one though. You gotta win it. You gotta win it before it. But
yeah.
it's if you're
real quick, yeah.
Go ahead.
I do want to bring up that this is the biggest story here is the Lakers bringing up who's getting rings already. Bro, it
wasn't.
finals.
It was brought up. It was brought up by Russell Westbrook and Pat Beverly on the podcast.
I thought the Lakers I thought the Lakers released a list of people who will get rings. I'm like, this seems fucking ballsy.
No, it is because it's per the team. It's like per the team, and so the Lakers have in previous seasons done it. So in the article, they're just listing it out. This isn't Jeannie Buss and Jerry West letting us know. We've already started making up these rings. This was it's per a report. So like they have some assistant to some vice president in charge of napkin distribution. Somebody said, "Hey, who all's getting rings?" And Jeannie Buss was like the same people that have got rings the last 17 times. It's funny you bring up the Lakers. There was this Warriors guy, a fan, when they were getting the dog crap kicked out of him by the Lakers. He had the audacity to stand up and start counting the Warriors rings.
Oh,
Their 4 rings.
Okay.
And to be fair, he's only been he's only
just have like 21.
He's been only a basketball fan for 5 years, but maybe, just maybe, look some stuff up. The Lakers have won 4 in like the last 15 years too, man. They have 17 total championship. There was a point when they were playing the Celtics the 3 years in a row that they were playing the Celtics in the championship, that those two teams were in the championship game 60% of the entirety of the NBA. So no offense. And this team specifically, whether or not you want to say it was a bubble win or whatever, 3 years ago won the championship. So I just didn't think it was smart. Robert Horry has more rings than the Golden State Warriors do. Okay. Tony Kukoc has the same amount of rings as the Golden State Warriors do. Okay. My man John Paxton is repping almost as much hardware as Steph Curry. So let's not, I probably wouldn't be counting, homie. That doesn't. They're counting how many rings they're gonna have to make for other people, and you guys are. It was just a poor taste. They were just laughing at him. Like, what do you even say to that guy? I don't have enough. I got to take my shoes off to count how many that we have.
Nashville SC wins against Chicago 3-0. Mukhtar gets the Hattie. I'm assuming. I'm going to take an assumption here that Nashville SC is just as big rivals with Chicago as the Preds are. From perspective.
Chicago's soccer team's pretty dog shit. They were not good. So no, not as much. They're not traditionally good, so we've never. Our really biggest rivals.
I'm assuming it's Cincinnati is the biggest rival.
Cincinnati, maybe Atlanta. Is one that we've had some pretty big games with. I don't know that we have an outright right. We might, but those are some that kind of stand out in my mind. But yeah, two goals from from PKs, and then we left at the 85th minute because we were just dominating them. And then we hear the crowd cheer for the third goal of the hat trick. So glad we got out of there, got to save Stephanie's hat because that's what I was wearing. So it was good for her.
Yeah. Mage wins the 149th Kentucky Derby, 16-1 odds. Wasn't this another year where the front runner got disqualified or something like that for drugs or some crazy?
Maybe. I forgot to add this on there, and I don't know the exact number, but there's investigations happening into the Kentucky Derby again after last year's investigations on all the doping. 7 horses died at Churchill Downs over the course of the week before the race.
Fucking Christ.
7 horses. 4 of them were owned by one owner. He was suspended.
Fucking hell.
But it's an issue.
Jesus
but
Christ. I am not a fan of horse racing. I have never, over the past like 5 or 6 years, after looking into it some more, I've just really come to dislike horse racing. But man, yeah, so I don't even watch the Kentucky Derby. I get it's a big deal. But yeah, I mean, so Mage wins, 16-1 odds. I don't know if you had any money on it.
I didn't. I actually called it though in the group chat. So I got pride. I got 16-1 on my pride bet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm living on. I got tons of pride that I'm carrying around over here. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let's move into our main topic of the day. We are continuing talking about the NHL playoffs, the greatest playoffs in the history of humankind. So far we're sitting up there. We've got the Maple Leafs, the Panthers, the Golden Knights, the Oilers. We've got the Hurricanes, the Devils, Stars, and Kraken. And I think, am I missing a game? Stars and Kraken. I think I said that.
You said that.
So I think that's all of them.
Yep. Just 8.
Cool,
just got 8 left.
But yeah, just 8. So right now, Carolina making it look almost easy, up 3-1 over the Devils. The Stars and the Kraken, this has turned out to be a good series, tied 2-2. On the night of recording, which this week is Wednesday, not the 17th. We are on Wednesday the 10th. So let me go on back there. Maple Leafs and Panthers. Maple Leafs trying to stave off getting swept by a hot Panthers team. And then we've got the Golden Knights with a 2-1 series lead over the Oilers. I'm loving all these. I will say that last week in our group chat with Davey, I kind of was like, man, Seattle versus Panthers. And honestly, the way these teams are playing, I think Seattle has a easier path to the final. But because I think the Carolina Hurricanes are a force.
I was going to say
right now.
They're
coming in as a Cat 5, baby.
That was 100%. I loved your comments, but I felt like, Panthers are looking good. Hurricanes are looking great. Even in games that the one game they lost in this series, they scored 4 goals. They've scored collectively 5-11, 15, 21 goals this series in the 4 games that have been played so far. Going back home to Carolina, I don't see how they don't close that out. I'm with you though. The Hurricanes are looking solid. Seattle is looking solid as well. I think I saw a stat though that could come into play. Ottinger is 23-3-1 this season after a loss, or maybe it's career after a loss, something along those lines. So he does play well after a loss. They would need to steal back that home ice for that to really make a difference. And it's tough to see that happening. The Kraken, as you said, have been playing great hockey. I'll tell you, a series that has been much more boring than I expected it to be. The Oilers and the Golden Knights. Yeah, the games have been. The first game was great, but usually a 5-1 game is not exciting, and those games have been pretty much that. Both 5-1 to the Oilers win and 5-1 for the Golden Knights win. It's been a little less exciting, and the games have been more one-sided outside of game 1 than I would have liked. I would have expected that to have been one of the more exciting series. I don't know how you felt about that.
Yeah, 100%. Well, one thing I will say is we have a chance of seeing some history here. Reggie Leach with the 75-76 Flyers holds the record for the most goals in an NHL playoff year at 19 goals in 16 games played. Right now, Leon Draisaitl is sitting at 13 goals with 9 games played. He's sitting at 13 goals. He is tied at 41st place, or he's in 41st place. And I mean, he'll jump up to 22nd place and tie Alex Ovechkin with 1 more goal. And then, I mean,
and I don't think
Alex Ovechkin did that in 24 games played.
Yeah, he didn't have a goal last game either. And so it's funny that, you know, he has probably just as many of these games where he doesn't have a goal and just scored 7 points or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's just so ridiculous. Like he'll just drop 5 in one night, you know, and that'll just chug him along into the, it's amazing. I sent you, what was the stat I sent you? It was a pretty good, it's funny. I'm glad you did that because I saved it just to bring it up. Leon Draisaitl's in pretty elite company, to your point, Bob. Only players to have 50 points, 50 plus points in any 25 game playoff span. You may have heard of this guy, Wayne Gretzky. He did it. He's pretty good. And then Mario Lemieux, he did it. He's okay. You've probably heard of him as well. And then another man named Leon Draisaitl. 2 of these guys have had much more playoff success than the other. One of them doesn't match up. They're going to need to storm through and win them a cup, right? In order for us to take this seriously. 50 points in 25 playoff games.
Did you say more than 50 points?
In any 25
so
game
I'm looking at some
span.
records right here. It says, oh, so even if you count like the years before?
Yes, playoff span. Yeah,
because Wayne Gretzky's okay.
25 games.
I was like in one. I was like,
stretch.
Because Wayne, yeah.
And think about it, Leon
Draisaitl. I can see how that's easy for
Wayne
Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky had
Leon Draisaitl's only playing Leon Draisaitl's only played like 4 rounds of playoff hockey his entire career. So I mean, it's amazing that he's done it.
Yeah. Well, Gretzky had 47 points in 1 playoff series in the 84-85 series. So I'm assuming it's either the playoff series before
they had to limit it.
He got those 3 points.
Okay, right, Bobby. Gretzky's the only one to ever have had 500 points within a 50-game playoff series. But that doesn't fit the stat, okay? Any stat you bring up, he's just going to be in it. He's just going to be added to that stat. But we had to bring some sort of limit. Yeah. If we were just doing, okay, we're not even going to bring this up unless we get to Gretzky level, they would never talk about stats. They would just not. They just couldn't. They're like, we would bring this up, but Gretzky drew.
Even if you even if you did 40 points in 1 playoff series, you would only have 2 people in there, and one of those people have done it 4 times. You've got Gretzky, Lemieux, Gretzky. You do have Evgeny Malkin and Paul Coffey sitting there at 36 and 37 points in 1 playoff series. So they're right outside that. But yeah, that's absolutely insane. Connor McDavid in the 21-22 did have 33 points.
Which is pretty impressive. That's when he went to the Western Conference Final, right?
Yeah, 16 games played, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, amazing. But I've always tried to tell people, like, if you look up a record in hockey, Gretzky's done it like 6 times, and then there will be like a spattering of a couple other dudes. That one time Shoeless Joe came close, but to be fair to everybody, he did play 47 seasons in the NHL, and he almost beat Gretzky's record of touching the ice first or something. You know, like just some dumb stat. Gretzky holds the record for it. I promise you. He probably holds goaltending wins records, you know?
Yeah, and depending on how long if this series goes 7, we could be seeing another record with Draisaitl getting the most goals in a playoff series. Jari Kurri from the 84-85 Oilers has 12 goals in a 6-game series. But I mean, and then it drops down to 9 for a bunch of people with 9. I mean, Draisaitl has got 5 in that 1 game, so I mean, he's probably on page.
I don't know that he ever actually got 5 in that 1 game.
I would if I go to that.
Let me see.
He definitely got 4. I think I thought he got 5 for some reason. Didn't he? He had a hat.
No, that happened during the season, though. Remember when we were joking about it? and I was like, watch, Draisaitl will drop like 5 and come up and win the goal record. And he did drop 5 in a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, he only got 2. In this series specifically, he's only got 2 in the second game.
So, you know what? I think it was another game. Yeah, it was a different game where someone
he hat tricked on the first game of the series.
I think it was Oliver Bjorkstad.
He scored. You're right.
Yeah.
He scored 4 in the first game of the series.
5 goals in a game.
Well, he did score 4 in the first game of the series, though.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. But yeah, so we've covered that. So Florida, Toronto, we had this discussion over text. I think we're both agreeing that Florida wins this series.
Yes.
Correct?
But let's make our call now. We don't have games of the week. You want to put $5 on it as our winner?
I think Toronto wins. I think Toronto loses at home.
I think. I'm just talking this game specifically.
I think Toronto goes in tonight.
All right, I'm gonna put 5.
Yeah, I'll put
Toronto
some money on
winning.
I think Toronto wins. I'm gonna do Toronto. I don't know what the spread is. I'm assuming Florida.
I looked at it earlier.
Is Florida favored tonight?
No, I believe that.
I think
is. Florida's definitely the better.
Wow,
money. I just think that they're gonna pull it out. It's not like they've just been getting the dog crap beat out of them or anything. They've been in these games, so I think they're gonna pull one off. So I'm gonna go.
Maple Leafs at -1.5 plus 202. Yeah, I'm taking the Leafs -1.5. I think they dominate tonight and then come out and get their asses whooped in Game 6.
Well then, hey, I'm gonna tell you. I'll put my money on 1.5 as well. That's good. That's good odds there. 200, and it very easily could happen. So I'm with you on it. You know what your boy hasn't been doing? Losing money in baseball. I've been winning money in baseball, bro. Not a lot, but I haven't been losing it.
Let's move in. Let's move into our joke of the week.
The weird.
Corey Perry.
See, I don't like this. Wild. I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it. Outlandish.
Each sixth chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister.
And downright dumb.
You're kidding me.
It's time for the joke of the week.
Jesus Christ. Go ahead and tell us what this week's is.
Yeah, so obviously you never want to send $1.5 million in cryptocurrency to an unintended target. Ever, right? That's just bad, it's bad business. But what you definitely don't want to do is be a user that accidentally sends $1.5 million in Bitcoin to Jared from Subway. Jared from Subway is absolutely going to be able to find a way to utilize $1.5 million in money that nobody can trace. That is going to be less than zero problem from Jared Fogle from Subway. It just feels like if you're making the transferring of it, you're going to double check your address. Basically, just put in the wrong address. Jared from Subway, if you're reading this, I sent you mistake tokens for about 1.5 mil. Is there any way I can get them back? Our investors would kill me. So this guy's going to prison. Well, he would be if it wasn't cryptocurrency. This guy's probably going to be fine because there's literally no laws, handling this wild, wild west. But he's got Jared from Subway has all the money. Jared keeping around $50,000. He got all the money returned with Jared keeping around $50,000 for themselves. just a finder's fee. I'm guessing it's probably not the real Jared Subway. Jared. Let me see. There's a link here. I'm scared to click on the link. it's gonna take me to like some crypto bros website or something,
I'm on,
dude. And,
I'm on the Twitter thread right now where it all
Okay.
got leaked. And
But
so
it
what
was
happened
Jared
was
Fogle?
when he was putting in the address, it doesn't say. One must assume. So when he was typing in the address of where it was supposed to go, he misspelled address as ADDRES, and the tokens transferred. It auto-corrected, and that variable changed the address to a number that Jared's contract. What Jared's address is I guess the binary for the correct way to spell address or the wrong way to spell address.
The standard. It's just the standard.
So,
look, if we don't know where this money's going, it goes to Jared from Subway. Everybody clear? Everybody clear? When the day they invented cryptocurrency, they were like, look, we got to have a landing spot so we're not just losing all this. Jared from Subway is the guy. That's where it lands.
Like, what's Jared Fogle up to?
What's he up to? He is living Jared Fogle's best life, which would be a horrible life for everybody that's not Jared Fogle, but for Jared, the unlimited cryptocurrency, that keeps finding his way to him is going to be great. Is he still in prison? I hope he's still in prison. That's personally my thought process.
I hope.
But yeah, let's find that out. I'm kind of scared to find out if he's not, though.
I'm looking up right now.
All right. Tell us.
Who knows?
If Jared is currently incarcerated. Perfect. Okay. So if that is so as long as he's still incarcerated, I was going to make that the joke of the week if he was out. But as long as he's still locked up, I think they should have had, Jared on 60 Days In, which I have been watching some of, and it would be awesome to see him get the crap kicked out of him. So, what a joke! Yeah. Don't
I want him to at least compare. I want him to compare Subway diet to prison diet. And
absolutely,
because you got to think he's either gotten super fat or he is jacked now.
Either way, yeah. I mean, Jared just comes out and he's just like, Subway, you're giving me my job back, and they're like, we have to. We can't not. You're gonna beat the crap out of us if we don't. So.
Yeah. On a daily basis, how many times do you think that the other inmates make puns about him taking subs to the mouth?
I would think it would have to be less than 0, Bob, and the reason for that being is Jared Fogle is definitely in solitary confinement, dude. He's a celebrity and and mess with children, dude, or women or whatever you mess with. It was something that people.
It's so funny to think that Jared. What's funny is that Jared Fogle was once a celebrity.
That's what I'm saying. Like, to the point where
sometimes people get famous for no reasons, but this dude had a good diet.
And not even really just had a good diet. Like, he walked miles to the Subway and had half of a ham sandwich, dude. Like, yeah, man, we're all gonna lose weight. He's walking 7 miles a day and eating 3 slices of ham on white bread, dude. Like, he's not even toasting it. Like. And so, I mean, he was famous enough to where, remember, he had a South Park episode. Yeah. He had a full South Park episode about him.
To where he wasn't just famous. He was, He had in 2003, 2004, he was on top of the world, it felt like.
Remember they
knew who this guy was. He was the Kim Kardashian of the early 2000s.
That's it. He was super hella famous, dude. Anyway, let's not talk about
AIDS like he did.
Honestly, I prefer all of the Kardashian. I would watch hours a day of Keeping Up with the Kardashians if it meant that the only way Jared Fogles is staying in jail is dependent on me specifically watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I would do it every single day. I feel like, and I don't even really care about people. You know what I'm saying? This would be a pure hatred for Jared.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, this is not for all of the victims that I'm saving. This is because I want him to be in prison for his entire life. I mean, he got way too rich by just talking about Subway.
Yeah.
And then he was a shitty person on top of it. Imagine, Bob, imagine we get paid millions of dollars just because we ate Subway and walked and exercised. Dude, I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do I have, anyway, Jared, You're dead. You are the real joke, Jared.
Yeah. Also, what a dick genie to be like, it's up to you to keep Jared Fogle in prison, but you gotta watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Like, that's just a dick move, man.
Yeah, I mean, it would be tough. It would definitely be like a monkey paw wish type of deal. Like, like I wish Jared to stay in prison, and they're like, yeah, but you gotta watch, Keeping Up with. But let's be real, trash TV's trash when you don't watch it. But then when you start getting into some reality TV, that I'm going to be talking with girls on the elevator about what, how stupid Chloe was this week or whatever. I have no shame. Like, it's not my style, but I can get into it if it means Jared Fogle staying in prison. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right, let's move into our pop culture. I saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 last night, so we're going to have a quick spoiler-free rundown.
Elevator
first
pitch
off,
me.
It was good old classic. It was a fun superhero movie. The pacing was very good. It had comedy in the right spots, and I will say that they talked about earlier, I think James Gunn or something said that they raised the rating because they dropped the F word one time. And it was one of the most perfectly placed F words in the history of cinema. It was not in a place that you saw coming. Like, if you went into this movie, when you go watch it, if you know that there's an F word coming at some point, it'll blindside you and it will work in that moment. And it cracked people up. It was really funny. It was also at times very, very sad. Megan cried a lot. I almost teared up at one point. And overall, great acting, great writing, great action. Dave Bautista was absolute his best performance in any of the Guardians movies by far. This was great, and I don't think I have any notes for it. It's not making my top 5 Marvel movies, but that's because it's just it's not a end of a phase movie, not a beginning of a phase movie. It's smack dab in the middle. It is very much a I wouldn't say it's a Thor Ragnarok, but it's very much maybe a Thor #1 style movie where you're gonna leave having enjoyed the movie, and I'll probably watch it again at some point.
Excellent. I'll definitely have to go and see it. I want to go see Mario. Stephanie loves Mario. We're trying to do that. She's done with school, so lots of good movies out right now. So awesome.
Yeah. Let's move into a what snaps our stick that doesn't look like we're prepared for, but we're going to do it anyway.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
All right. So my only complaint about my movie experience last night was as the movie's about to begin, I was like, you know what? I want some Sour Patch Kids. Maybe some Sour Patch Kids. Had about 2-3 pre-commercials, before I can get it. So I have plenty of time. Run down. First off, it's a 10 p.m. start time. It's the only tickets that were available. The movie theater's dead. I walk up. I'm just about to get there, and someone walks right in front of me from the other side. He didn't butt me or anything. Whatever. It is what it is. Not. I'm waiting my turn. This dude and his girlfriend are so goddamn high. And they reek of weed. And it's whatever. But he's like, super high. He's like, hey, do you guys have popcorn? And the guy's like, yeah. Do you have enough popcorn for a bucket? He's like, yeah.
No. Do you have enough popcorn
and he's like, can you
for a
hook me up?
bucket?
And he's
hook you up.
Like, okay, I kind of get the conversation because it is 10 p.m. They're about to close. This is the last movie of the night, and fine.
But a bucket has a finite amount of space.
I can get you.
A bucket has a.
Yeah.
They already fill it up. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And so he's like, yeah, man, I got you. And he's just like, cool. And so he pours the bucket and he gets back and he's just standing there for a second and he's like, okay, anything else? Because he's just being weird. And he's like, oh, yeah, you want anything? And she's like, oh, I would love some M&Ms. And he's like, okay, M&Ms. Anything else? He's like, yeah. And he says, yeah, and just stops talking.
I mean,
the guy's waiting. I'm sitting there like, oh my God. And this guy's the guy behind the guy's ear is cracking up because he can see just what's like. This guy, they just came from the parking lot, smoked up and getting ready to go see Guardians of the Galaxy. And finally, he's like, "Oh yeah, let me get a large drink." And he's like, "Okay," gives him the cup, and he's like, "Do I have to pay for the popcorn?" The guy's like, "Yeah, you have to pay for the popcorn." He's like, "Oh, I thought when I asked if you could hook me up, if you were giving it to me for free." He's like, "That's not how this works."
Honestly, it sounds like
so he goes to pay.
This is an opposite snaps my stick, Bobby. This sounds like it would have been awesome to be a part of.
It was fun, but the problem is the lobby at the Stones River Theater is a good 90 degrees. And I'm like, all right, at this point, now I summed this up. This whole interaction has taken about 5-8 minutes. I am definitely getting started to miss the start of this movie. I'm like, this is some bullshit. And I'm sitting there with one bag of Sour Patch Kids in my hand. And then the girl, they were just sitting there and they're like, can I help you? They're like, she's like, oh, we're waiting for our M&Ms. They're literally standing right in front of the big like tray. And
to be fair, M&Ms don't stand. To be fair, M&Ms don't stand. To be fair, M&Ms don't stand normally. That's got to be freaky to them.
They're hanging.
It's funny.
And so I'm just like, and he's like, hey man, and I get back literally as like the Marvel. So it was good timing, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, kill me now. And the dude is just the guy behind the guy's here is just cracking up. And we have that like silent conversation where we know that this dude was just probably got just way too high before coming to see this movie. And it was, I mean, it snaps my stick, but also it gave me a laugh. So maybe it's,
to be fair,
so maybe it's maybe it made my night.
To be fair, Bobby, my man goes to a movie at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And his complaint is about the dude that got too stoned to watch. He wasn't going in to do rocket science, Bob. He was going to watch Guardians of the Galaxy 3. You know what I'm saying? I can cut my man a break. Like, yeah, but honestly, you are right. Your quote right here, dudes being too high in public, is 100% right. Everywhere on earth except for the movie theater. Like, you've literally gone to the one safe zone for this guy. And you have come at him. This is wrong of you, Bobby. I can't stand by and watch you go at a a specific subset of our population like that. So mine.
All right. I will retract it. It wasn't.
It's a fake.
It's what repaired my stick. It made me laugh.
What taped up Bob's stick, dude? Good. Okay. Good. Mine is. I didn't realize, like, I knew Microsoft points were a thing, but I didn't know how much were like available weekly, daily, to you. Like, there's quite a bit. Like,
I don't even know what those are.
Yeah, like, on Xbox, when you like, if you have Game Pass, you get like daily game, points or whatever. Anyway, Microsoft points, are basically, it's like reward points. And so, like, if you have Edge on your phone and you do a certain amount of searches, you get Microsoft point, and you can redeem them for shit. Like it's 35,000 points for 3 months of Game Pass, Ultimate Game Pass, for free. Or you can get, gift cards or whatever. But basically, it's a lot of just like searching on Bing, searching on your phone, searching on the computer, clicking an article, and then you get them obviously through Xbox as well. But it's like quite a bit. It's like 500 points a day. And like I said, 35,000 points gets you 3 months of Game Pass. So, I mean, it's pretty dope. Should look into it, or I'll holler at you about it later. Not bad.
I didn't even know exactly. I mean, I don't use Bing, but
you honestly just what I've been doing is I'll search something, and then I'll choose the search bar and it'll give me a suggestion of something else related to that. And I'll just click that and I'll just do that about 40 times. Cause I don't really use Bing either. But now that if I search a bunch of stuff daily. So like if I'm searching it, then I might as well just use the thing that gets me the point. I make sure I max them out. I'm not even stressing like using this specifically to search things, just making sure I get those max points. I was like at like 17,000 before I started doing all the extra stuff. Cause you do get it from Xbox Game Pass, like going and playing a game daily and weekly quests and monthly quests.
Okay.
But I didn't realize like you could do like the extra stuff too. And so I gained like 3,000 points over the past like a week or so. So not bad.
Nice. But all right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us this week. Don't forget to keep track of all of our socials to find out new dates for bingo and keep track of all the new episodes and stuff. But hey, we'll see y'all next week. For Brandon, I'm Bobby. This has been the Pucks Out Podcast.
Peace.
Again next time.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.